what perfect timing for it to be the flagship property in Tom Madison. And Tom Madison is just going to keep growing, right? And you're going to benefit from everything there's still to build, right? And I know that there's plans to the park, possible additions to the park, right? If the funding's there and it makes sense, right?
Well, we have to. There are facility standards we have to do by 2025 to be compliant with Major League Baseball.
One example is that thing that's the stairwell out in left field that will become offices and that. Can you explain that? What the plan is for that?
I can give you a good kind of synopsis of it, but what we need to do is the clubhouse and the commissary areas are not big enough for both teams that we have. So we need another clubhouse area. So the goal is to make out behind by just over left field where the visiting bullpen is to make a structure where that is now a clubhouse, so that we can free up our visiting clubhouse, home clubhouse, whatever it is, and make more of it. You need female umpire spaces, you need female manager spaces, you need all of that needs to, there's so many requirements based on all the new things that are happening in the world. Like there are now female managers and now female umpires. So they have to have a place to shower and change. That's not, behind the ballpark, walking 5 feet to get from the field to or 50 feet to get from the field to this, their shower. So the goal is to build a structure in left field that then ideally we could add suites, we could add a rooftop bar, we could add revenue generating space to then pay for itself, get the money back to the city, and also have something cool to continue to book. Because if you look at our hospitality spaces, those are the first things that sell out. I mean, we're selling the suites and the hospitality spaces now, and I mean they're going to be sold out by Christmas.
Right.
So those we know people want. Here they want climate controlled spaces.
Yeah.
And I get it. I would too. So if we're selling out of those spaces to make more to pay for this structure seems to make sense.
Yeah.
But now we're not the ones, we have to present that to the city and city council. And if there's no funding there, then the ownership group has to fund it, because if there's not funding and we can't get this to happen, we don't have a team.
Yeah.
Like you have to get to these standards to keep your license with your major league team.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Any other improvement plans that are maybe non-mandated?
I think we're always looking at what we can do to improve our concessions, to add experiences. So maybe, the kid zone is something where it's really for a younger demographic of kids, 2, 3 years old. But once you're a teenager, you really just have that speed pitch out there in center field. So how can we add more things for people to do? I think the opportunity is really the outfield experience, and how do we build that? And that structure has kind of always been the focal point of, hey, this is going to come, but maybe there's things we can do in the meantime that we can do. And we're always looking to reinvest in the ballpark, try new things, try new events, or whatever that looks like. We actually have a staff retreat on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, and that's the stuff we talk about. We get together, we go off site, and we're going to brainstorm of, hey, what do you guys think? Let's all talk about it together, and maybe we come out of this with 10 goals for each department to work on for the year.
Here's my one wish.
Yeah.
and you're gonna appreciate this because you may have been here. Have you been to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware?
I have.
Do you remember the Funland and all that, right? And I was just talking to Dusty, the Mishmash Men podcast. I just released that episode, and he's from oh my gosh, it's up way up in Pennsylvania. Is Tunkertown? I can't remember the name.
Drexlertown?
No, I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
But we were talking about Rehoboth Beach, and I had told him it was the first beach I ever went to as a kid. And I also, as I was telling you a little earlier, when I was 8, it was my first year of organized baseball, and I was just really coming into being a sports fan, and I was just captivated by so many things. And one thing I was captivated by was just the logos and the team names and the history of like the White Sox and the Dodgers, and, whatever. But they had a speed pitch on the boardwalk, and the prizes were the hard hat helmets. Now, they didn't have the ear holes, right? But it was like, remember John Olerud? He played first base with that weird hat or that weird helmet. And I would just sit there and I wanted them all. And they didn't have all the teams, but they had a lot of them. And it was $1 for 3 pitches. And I must have taken $30 off my grandma because I was trying to win all these helmets, and you just throw 3 pitches and Okay, and I think at the time I was throwing like 48 miles an hour, and then 48. Like, oh, all right, I'll throw 48, and you throw 49. Oh, I'm a loser. But I won some of those helmets, and I just remember like it was just you can never take away those moments when like you're a kid and something really like you just get so excited about something, and it just like reinforced my love for baseball and the history of baseball and the teams. Just to win some little helmet.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We take for granted all the time the amount of memories we're making for kids, adults, everybody who just get to go on the field for a contest, or they're throwing a first pitch, or they say play ball, or they got an autograph. Yeah. I mean, I remember going to games with my dad as a kid and getting autographs. I don't know who autographed it. I couldn't tell you one name, but I still had the ball. The Red Barons.
Oh, the Red Barons.
They were the AAA team for the Phillies before the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs came along in Scranton, Pennsylvania.